Now, masking is an indispensable part of becoming proficient in Photoshop. You gotta learn masking if you truly want to become a Photoshop Jedi Master. And once you get the basic concept of what masking is and how to put it to use, your results will be incredible. The problem is that explaining masking is a little like explaining the taste of chocolate or the rules of baseball. You gotta taste chocolate to really understand, and you really gotta sit down and watch a baseball game, preferably in a stadium with someone who understands it, to grasp baseball. And so that's how we're going to approach this movie. That is, I'm going to use masking in an actual photo adjustment, explaining and demonstrating as I go, and I promise that at one point the lights will come on and you'll come to that aha moment. But try as I may to explain what masking is, well, if I had to put it in a sentence, it would be that you're going to erase parts of one image to reveal parts of another image below it in the layer stack. Now that's like saying, what are the rules of baseball? Well, the rules of baseball are to advance the runners around the home plate as many times as possible, accumulating more points than the other team. But that really doesn't tell you much. Let's take a look at this example, and I think things will probably clear up a little bit. We've got two layers up here. We've got a red one and a blue one. Now, you can't see the blue one because it's covered up by the red one. And as we know, the workspace is looking at the top visible layer at any given point in time. So if I want one half of this upper layer to be blue, how do I erase part of this red layer to reveal the bottom layer? Well, let's look at the quick and simple way, and that is to come over here and grab the eraser tool. Now that sounds very, very straightforward, and we're going to just do that just to show you what we can do. Okay, well, we erase the top layer, and we see that that's happening, and so now half of this layer is blue and the other half is red. But actually, the top layer is still only red. Nothing has changed, except that we've erased half of the top layer. Well, now, what if I want to put part of this red back up there? I mean, that's all well and good to that point. If that's all you want to do, you're in great shape. But what happens if you want to put part of this red part back? Well, you're stuck. You have to come here, you have to go back to the very beginning, go to the layer, and then start again. So far, so good. A little more. Now, if I want to put some of this red back up there without going back to square one and starting over, what do? Well, you have to use masks. So bear with me here. I'm going to go back to the very beginning, go back to layers. I'm going to come down to the bottom of the layers panel and click on this little icon right here, the little rectangle with the hole in the middle of it. I'm going to click on it. Wait, I got to choose the upper layer first. Sorry about that. All right, now I'm going to click on this icon and I'm going to create a mask. And you see this white that comes out of here. Now, in the parlance of Photoshop, white reveals and black conceals. So let's see what happens when we have a black paint on our brush and we come up here and we paint. Now I want to get a different kind of brush on here because there you go. Okay, I want to reduce the hardness. All right, so now we're just going to paint over and do the exact same thing we did before, and it's going to look very similar except for the feathering on the brush. It's the only difference. Now we're getting the same thing, right? Come back over here, because you can see the blue and you can see the red, and you say to yourself, okay, well, now what? What's the difference? Well, the difference is that if I want to paint some of that back in, I come down to these color palettes, I click on this little bent arrow right here, and now I've got white in my foreground, which means that's what I'm painting with, and I can paint white back onto the mask and put some of the red back up there. Or let's say I want to come up and reduce the opacity. And then I can paint a little bit of red back in there. And then I can switch this again. Come down. Erase it. Well, it'd be better to do if I had this 100% opacity. And so on. Now I can come over here in the middle. I can reduce the opacity, let's say, to way down to 14%. I can come into this little area here. See how I'm gradually bringing that in? In other words, this layer is revealing itself through the top layer by use of a mask. And you can see how I'm blending it in. And you can do that a little bit with the eraser tool, but the eraser tool has nowhere near the breadth of uses that the masking tool does. So forget the eraser tool when you want to reveal one layer below another. Get in the habit of using only masks. Now, coming up in the next movie, we're going to take a look at the basic uses of masks. I'm going to give you 3 examples of how to use masks, and then from that point forward, the lights should be on, and you'll be running down the road screaming, "Masking! I understand it!" It's going to be fun, so don't go away.